Opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of Shaw Cable Systems or of the station. Through our access policy, we provide the opportunity for community groups and individuals to express their points of view.
Welcome to Moose Jaw This Weekend. I'm Lyle Johnson here with, I call it my political show, and it's a chance for our elected officials provincially and nationally to talk about their Christmas thoughts and seasonal thoughts and prospects for the new year. So my first guest is Warren Michelson. Warren, welcome to the show.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, Lyle.
Merry Christmas indeed. And this is in your office where we are.
Yes,
and you have a Christmas tree and a Christmas tie.
Well, thank you. Yes.
Tell the tie. It's
well,
a great thing.
It is.
Greg will zoom in on it. Right?
It is a nice tie, and if you can get a close up there, it is a 12 days of Christmas, starting with the 2 turtle doves, 3 French hens, all the way up. So that's kind of a unique tie to be able to wear, and you can only wear it this time of the year. But it's nice. To have.
I was saying if you had a really thick neck, it would only be like the 10 days of Christmas. But Warren, this is your second term.
Yes, it is.
And so let's just talk about things that have gone well in the riding for you this year.
Well, I think generally speaking, things have gone well in the province of Saskatchewan, and the riding is certainly part of that. First and foremost, Lyle is obviously the hospital. That was announced a little bit on a year ago, and in fact, this past week they were just doing some public showings of the drawings, the concept. So I'm very pleased with that's happening in the constituency, and the progress that they've made on it.
It was interesting to note that I saw you in the picture that was in the paper. You're strategically placed in there, right? Was that planned, do you think?
Well, it wasn't planned by me. I guess the photographer of the paper, I noticed it too after the paper came out. But no, it wasn't a planned setting.
No, but it was nice that you're interested enough to be there for that. I think that was checking into what was going on in our community. So that's really good. It's not even, and it's in your riding. So
the new hospital will be in my riding, and it's something that we campaigned very hard for at the beginning. Obviously, it isn't my decision, but we certainly pushed for to have the hospital, and the Ministry of Health and the Premier looked at it and decided that yes, this is part of the new infrastructure for the new Saskatchewan, and the plan to go forward on several fronts. So the hospital here was one of the first announcements. There have been others, North Battleford, they finished the Humboldt Hospital as well. And there are certainly other needs around the province, but I was certainly pleased that they could see that this is a need for Moose Jaw area.
What do you think the next one is for our community here?
Well, right now there are plans in place for our residents at SIAST, an international residence, and that is kind of held up in some of the bureaucracy, I suppose you might say. Obviously, there's a lot of need, and this does take some funding from the city, and the city's said that they're certainly a part of it, from SIAST and from the government. So the negotiations are ongoing. We've got a new president for SIAST, and we'll be talking to him again in the new year to see where this is.
And speaking of SIAST, of course, in housing, the plan to create a residency for SIAST, that they identified, the city council has identified that as something that would enhance SIAST and our community. Any thoughts about that?
Well, obviously Moose Jaw is certainly a growing community. I'm so pleased with the amount of new housing that's going up, the expansion with the K+S just north of town, the construction of the hospital. So that whole residence is very important. So a residence for SIAST would certainly be welcomed in this community. And again, there are some plans in place that they're looking at moving forward on that.
Yeah, and I was just wondering, is the government involved yet at any point with this? Are you aware of that?
Yes, so we have had several meetings, and I'm not making any promises. Nothing has been definite yet, but the plans are there that this is something that we would like to see sometime in the future as we go forward.
And we're down to our last couple of minutes here. Are there things that personal projects, there are things that are important to Moose Jaw that you would like to see move ahead maybe a little faster, or at least be more aware in the people's minds?
I think the whole industrial corridor is going to have a big effect on Moose Jaw. We'd like to see more time put into that, attracting industry, attracting businesses. We're doing very well, but I think there's always more, and it takes time to do this.
Yeah, we missed out on the Dundurn thing. How did that happen?
Well, I'm not sure, and I didn't make that decision, but
wow, what a great thing for their community.
Yes, it is. Yes, yeah. yes.
Well, I want to wish you and your family. You got grandkids to spoil now, which is really good.
We've got 2 brand new grandchildren. We've had 2 before, but we had a little girl in June and a little boy in May, so they'll be their first Christmas, and they just bring another dimension to Christmas when you have those young ones around.
Okay, so a chance for you to pass on your thoughts and feelings to the community who watch us on Shaw.
Well, thank you, Lyle, and I would like to take this time to, on behalf of my wife Debbie and our family, just wish everyone a very happy and holy Christmas and all the best in 2013. Thank you.
Okay, so Warren is, of course, the Moose Jaw North MLA, and now we're going to be right back with Greg Lawrence to talk about Waccamaw. Don't go away. So, as I promised, Greg Lawrence, the MLA for Moose Jaw Waccamaw, is here. And Greg, welcome to the show, and thanks to your staff for initiating this opportunity.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I always like to get out and talk to as many people in the community as I can, and this is a great way to reach out and have a conversation with you about our fine city.
Yeah, and so as you were watching, as we were talking to Warren before, things that you're happy with that have happened in our community that you are going to, that you think are positives and they're going to lead somewhere, and that kind of thing.
Well, as Warren alluded to, the biggest thing coming forward is the new hospital. It's not just for our community, the Moose Jaw, it's for the Five Hills Health Region. And the presentation they put together last night, you could see people come in and they had questions, they answered the questions, and I'm pretty sure everybody left there happy with the progress that they've made going forward on that.
One question I heard on the radio after, but it wasn't asked at the thing, are they going to charge for parking?
Oh, actually, that was asked last night. And according to them, there are no plans to do it right now. However, that will be a decision. That will be a decision for the board of directors for the Five Hills Health Region.
Yeah. And will there be enough parking? I know that was a concern at the union. They have 2 fairly good parking lots, but the neighborhood is always flooded with cars because there's a lot of people visiting and doing business there.
Last night, the number of parking stalls was 350 is what they talked about. So there should be ample parking. And we're going from an area where it's sitting on just around 6 acres to 30+ acres. So there's lots of room for expansion if they find they're running short of that.
Yeah. So besides the hospital, what else do you think is of importance in your particular riding?
Well, we take a look at some of the growth that's happening downtown in the city. We had a brand new restaurant open up this week. We had Boston Pizza open up right down the street. Yeah. So when you take a look at that, and some of our buildings that have been in the process of being renovated are renovated, and the downtown core is the heart of the heart of Moose Jaw Waccamaw. That's where the businesses generate their income for the city and help the city grow.
For sure. Now, things that you would like to see happen faster or things that they're concerns for you. What are those for yourself right now?
Well, it's concerns that were brought forth by the people of the province when we put forward our growth plan, when I got out in touch with people, and it's making sure that the infrastructure is there for this province growing, and that's part of our vision for our growth plan for Saskatchewan, Vision 2020 and beyond. And that was the key plank from across the province. So it's very important to us as a government that we take care of that and make sure that that infrastructure is ready to go for the growth.
And when you talk about infrastructure, of course, that's a big concern in Moose Jaw because of the water infrastructure, and that's a big thing. Like the sewage and the plumbing for the city is a big deal. What kind of issues, if any, has the provincial government got in place to maybe address that in a sharing basis with the city?
Well, what we've done is we've increased the funding, the municipal operating grant, as the city calls it. We give them 1% of the PST. With that, they can do anything they want. So their funding has been increased by 124%. Now, we as a government realize there's more to do. The Premier has stated that in the growth plan, and we plan to do that.
Yeah, no, we're going to have an influx of business with the new Potash Corporation, hey?
Yes.
For sure. And that's going to be good. But we're also losing things. The SIAS has been downsized over the last 5-10 years. There's less programs and stuff offered here, but they've been moved to other parts of the province, so there's no loss provincially. But some of those kind of things affect us.
We've increased funding to SIAST overall since 2007. I was just looking at the numbers. I believe it's in the neighborhood of 16%. And the board of directors that are in place there are the ones we trust to provide the services for Saskatchewan. So we want to make sure that it's there for everybody. SIAST isn't just a Moose Jaw, it's for the entire province. We want to make sure that, and when I talk to the people at SIAST, the school is full.
Yes.
And so whether or not we've lost anything is hard to say because the school's full. So how can you lose anything if the school's full all the time?
Well, perhaps it might be time for maybe enlarging the campus and the buildings and the facilities like that. If it's full, then maybe obviously in our society, technologies are driving the economy. Like universities are not getting the same level of support that is given to the SIAS, etc., because that's where people are making their money. There's jobs in our province.
Oh, very much so. The building trades is centered here in Moose Jaw, and there is such a high demand across the province for these people that come out of our building trades, and it's good to see that our people in Moose Jaw are actually going to school here in town and getting out and getting a job and staying home. Staying here in our city. They don't have to leave to make a living in Alberta or Ontario or whatever. They can do it right here at home, and that's really gonna show itself. Everybody talks about K+S, but we don't talk enough about the expansion at Mosaic or the expansion at Yarra. Two huge expansion projects with existing companies right here that see the growth potential for our province, and they're doing their expansions right here.
Yeah. Greg tells me that it's your turn to get your chance to say your thoughts to the community. So,
well, on behalf of my wife Marjorie and myself and my boys, we want to wish everyone in the community a very happy Christmas and a very Merry New Year.
Okay, that wraps it up for this segment. When we come back, we're going to talk to our member of Parliament. So don't go away.